Okay, so now I'm going to read you a passage out loud, and you're going to listen. And then I'm going to ask you some questions about it. And we might do this several times until I find a just right level for you, okay? Dave wanted very much to succeed in athletics. I'm going to read you this story about Dave, and you're going to find out what he wanted to do. Okay. Dave wanted very much to succeed in athletics, but he was always afraid he would not quite make it. Last winter in basketball, he had not. He spent more time on the bench than on the floor, much more. So, with spring, he had turned to track. Coach Stevens said he had greatly needed a good quarter miler, and Dave hoped to be that person. The coach stressed that because Dave's legs were shorter than average, he should work on lengthening his stride. To do that, the coach added, would require much practice and an equal amount of desire. At first, Dave's father ruled out the roadside beneath the railroad tracks for practice, but then he talked with Mr. Johnson. The old man assured the father that it would not be dangerous as long as Dave stayed well away from the tracks and used only the quiet road. Mr. Johnson almost promised to keep an eye on the boy. Are you ready to answer some questions now? Using your own words, tell me one sentence that describes what Dave had decided to try to do.
Dave really wanted to try to do track, and so his coach really needed a good quarter miler. So Dave had hoped he would be that person.
How did Dave feel about athletics and his ability in athletics?
He wasn't very good at it. He didn't feel like he was very good because of the basketball incident.
Name and order the two sports Dave tried.
Basketball and then track.
Was Dave good at basketball?
I would kind of say he wasn't really given lots of opportunities to try to get better at it because he spent more time on the bench instead of on the floor. So his coach wasn't really seeing what he could really do.
Why did Dave need to work on lengthening his stride?
So he could run farther distance and have more stamina because his legs were shorter.
What does the phrase lengthening his stride mean?
Probably just getting better at running or doing something like that.
Okay. Did the coach believe it would be easy for Dave to lengthen his stride?
No, but the coach did say he could try his best. It would take a lot of practice and a lot of desire.
What does that mean, desire?
Desire means you really want to do something, so you're just going to keep on working at it.
How did Dave's father feel at first about him using the road bus beside the railroad tracks for practice?
His father thought it was not very safe.
What caused Dave's father to change his mind?
The old man that was in charge of the railroad. He said that he would he almost promised he would keep an eye on the boy, but there's a quiet road next to the railroad track that he could run on.
What did Mr. Johnson promise Dave's father at the end of the story?
He would keep an eye on him.
Okay, nice job. All right, we're going to do another one, okay? In this story, you're going to listen to find out about some famous animals that live on Sable Island, which is in the Atlantic Ocean near Nova Scotia. What did the first horses that came to Sable Island look like? We can only assume that they were much like farm horses anywhere in the world. But the harsh winters on Sable Island slowly changed the appearance of their descendants. They became smaller and stockier, had short ears, and in winter grew very long hair. Some stallions today have manes and tails so long that they nearly touch the ground. Most of the horses live in small herds, each consisting of several mares and their foals and a stallion who protects them. The herd is usually led by a mare, But when two herds meet, the stallions trot towards each other, heads held high, tossing their long manes from side to side. Shoulder to shoulder, they push each other and neigh and nip a bit. But then, having proven that they are both powerful and unafraid, they proudly prance back to their herds. This is what biologists call ritual fighting. It's mostly for show. What's the purpose of this story?
It's the purpose of the story is to tell about horses that live on that island near the Atlantic coast.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I just forgot the first name.
Sable Island.
Sable.
Do we know what the first horses that came to Sable Island looked like?
Yes, they probably look like horses that we see every day.
What can we assume caused the appearance of the descendants of the first sable horses to change?
Well, it was the harsh winters, and the winters are very long, so it would have been very cold for normal horses.
What are descendants?
Descendants are most likely stuff that immigrated, but they're not exactly people. They might just be animals.
That immigrated?
Yeah, immigrate. Descendants. Oh, maybe they were just born there for some reason. We don't know exactly why.
How does the author say the horses changed?
They grew shorter. Their tails became. They grew shorter and they became bulkier and a little bit more hairier.
Okay. How long are the manes and tails of some stallions today?
Almost touching the ground.
What is a foal?
A foal is, I believe, a girl horse.
Do the stallions with the small herds really want to fight stallions from other herds?
No, it's really more of show.
What are they trying to prove?
They're both really strong.
Name in order 3 things the stallions from different herds do when they meet.
First, they walk up to each other, heads high. Next, shoulder to shoulder, they wave their tails, and then finally they nip each other a little bit, and kind of push each other.
Then what?
No, I said that's finally.
After they nip each other, then they just stay there?
No, after they nip each other, then they just gallop away or walk away back to the herd.
Okay. What do biologists call this type of fighting?
Ceremonial fighting.
Close. Ritual fighting.
Ritual. I knew what it was. It was hard to pronounce.
Okay. You did a great job. Thanks for all your reading and listening. You did awesome. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.